Well, as the sun goes down now, in the dark, gray, cloudy day, it must be around 6:30, 6:45 at night. I'm going to read for tomorrow. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Looking at Mildred Stamm's 1967 book, Meditation Moments for Women. We read these without commentary, whether you take them as personal inspiration or as historical artifact. It's just bright enough I can read, and some of this I can't read. Oh, this sucks. Because this page was ripped. Peel that sheet of paper off and slide it in like a puzzle piece. Gosh. Slide it in like a puzzle piece. Very good. Oh, I'm getting bit up for real. Words. Okay, just leave that there. Maybe we'll tape it in. So October 14th, it opens with the contemplation and continues with the, it opens with the scripture, continues with the contemplation. This is from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. We make it our ambition to please him. Red has long been one of my favorite colors. However, neither my mother nor my husband liked it. Consequently, I have worn very little red. One Christmas, I casually suggested that I might get a new red dress. Many of my friends would be wearing lovely dresses of this color during the holiday season. Pause. Many of my friends would be wearing this. I'm getting bit up for real. Gosh. Oops. That's my bookmark. Our apologies. Just read the words. Many of my friends would be wearing lovely dresses of this color for the holiday season. My husband proceeded to tell me at length why he didn't think I should get a red dress. Then he told me to get what I wanted. Later, I told him I had my new red dress to show him. Do you know what color it was? I had bought a blue dress, his favorite color. To me, the color of the dress was not important. I wanted to please him much more than to have something that I desired. To please him, it says? What more wonderful ambition or desire could one have? Enoch had such a life. It says, okay, so this is from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5. He, Enoch, had this testimony that he pleased God, end quote. Jesus Christ himself gave us the most perfect example of this from John chapter 8, verse 29. Quote, for I do always those things that please him, end quote. I can't find it. From John chapter 4, verse 34. My meat is to do the will of him that sent, maybe me, and to finish his work. Okay, continuing here. Here we go. If I can read any of this, we need to ask ourselves, quote, are the words I speak pleasing to him? Are the plans for my life pleasing? My friends? My thoughts? My habits? My actions? Do you want your life really to count for him? Make it your daily ambition, then, to please him. There may be difficult days ahead, problems to solve, decisions to make, times of discouragement, and much work to be done for him. If we make it our ambition to please him moment by moment, it will give the right direction, not only to our daily lives and their needs, but to our service for him. Okay. Getting dark here. The mosquitoes are out. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love to have a fire back here. But there's other reasons that I don't like that. So we got some tiki torches that we usually pull out. It's called Bite Fighter, and it's a solution that you kind of light on fire, and it tries to help with the bugs. I guess the smoke permeates the area and the bugs stay away from that zone. So yeah, can we have more fires back here? Possibly. It's late in the season, so yeah. I'm gonna pick those eggplants in a few days. I mean, how much bigger are they really gonna get? Might as well just pick them now. I don't know. By November, can I have the eggplants? I'm trying to figure it out, right? So, yeah. Thanks for joining us for this contemplation. And next thing we're going to do is stitch the front half of this video onto the back half. So, enjoy the next half an hour. We're talking about our land and talking about what we can do to prepare for winter. Talking about a little bit of a homestead. It's a homestead ramble. So, talking about our land and our life here at this house. Kind of a homesteader. We don't usually think of ourselves as a homesteader, but we really are. So, hope you have a blessed day, and yeah, we'll stitch that video together. So we'll slide over there now. Thank you. Good afternoon. We're just walking in our back field. This is the back fire pit. We come out here, yeah. Of course I wanted to come out back here. I've been so blessed. Definitely blessed. Our house may be falling apart, but at least we can come out here and hang out on this land. Oftentimes we've thought about, either building a tiny home or getting an RV camper just to put back here and live out here. Definitely a possibility. During summers, yeah, we could live back here for sure. We're just kind of thinking about what we need to do to prepare for winter and to close everything up. One thing, we're talking about gardens. So this is my garden for this year. everything's pretty much finished. Start over here with the so we had tomatoes. We still got some growing, actually. That's interesting. There's a couple green ones left. I don't know if they'll freeze and stop. You know, so these green ones, I gotta we'll keep an eye on them, because maybe they won't turn red and maybe they won't ripen and they won't be picked. These green ones will just freeze as the plant starts to die. Possibly. We don't know much about gardening, but we try. It's one of our head mates' passions. So to honor the head mate's passions, it's been beneficial for us to try to learn a little bit more about gardening. Interesting. I actually have peppers growing. These ones. There's one here and one here. Now they still flowering. I don't know what I'm seeing here. This pepper had getting, see, it's been damaged and is rotting. But then here, so I just assume the growing season is over. It's the middle of October. So what am I supposed to do with these? These two eggplants. This one down here. I don't, you know, it's October 14th, so it's like, do we pick them? Growing season is over. It took all season. We planted these early in the season, right? And they're still not done. The plant grew up tall, and then the fruit started to grow, and hey, the bigger one on the bottom, it's weird. They look dark green to me. They don't look purple. I assumed eggplants was purple. Well, no. So yeah, that's interesting. One of the head mates really loves gardening and plants and being outside. Some of our head mates don't. So and to me, that's the long journey back to wholeness, is like, just try to front the head mate that has the healthiest hobbies. So I'm day one on a cannabis tolerance break, which my host head mate just loves a lot of cannabis. Well, never wants to not be high. So that becomes a cannabis dependency and becomes a problem. And that's what we're trying to figure out. Is it conducive to our growth as a system to offer to front the more natural, healthy, things like exercise, clean diet? So last night, there's a story. So this has happened a few times. For years, we've had trouble with diet and cooking. And, with the therapist, we didn't know any of this about ourselves. With the therapist, we would always, keep a food log, write everything down that you eat. And, especially so it's interesting. We haven't been back to the doctor in quite a while for checkups, because we would often get told that we had high blood pressure, and that a few things would help the high blood pressure, and the one thing the doctor offered was to cut down on salt intake, which includes a lot of processed foods, which has a lot of sodium in it. So they requested that I watch my sodium, and we don't like doing that. We didn't do that. I carry a little bit of extra weight. This body does. And the nicotine as well might increase blood pressure. But we don't go there because, they measure this body's blood pressure, and they get alarmed and alerted about it. Tell us it's too high. So yeah, for years, I just struggled with the diet choices. And then the other day, I was very conscious of this. We were trying to co-consciously choose what to eat. And that includes switching fronts. So that's an interesting way that we can organize and logically make healthier choices. We've struggled for a long time, and yes, we're getting help. But it's just about us and choosing better. So the choice was easy. So I go to the convenience store and usually looking at the fried, cheesy, or like chicken sandwich. The fish sandwiches are so good, but the carbs, because it's on a bun, so the carbs go crazy. The cheese sticks, these like bread sticks that they fill with cheese, is just so so delicious. But it's like, that's not. So sometimes when I'm eating that kind of stuff, that one of our headmates gets quite disgusted. After the first bite, disgusted right away by the texture, the flavor. Something's too savory. It just we know it's not a healthy option. Oh yes, bite me, enemy mine. We know it's not the right option. So yeah, now that we're working on this, it might become simpler to switch fronts. If whoever's fronting, switch fronts and make the choice to find what to eat, and that will please the headmate who likes healthy choices. Same goes with exercise. This exercise is even a tougher one, but so yeah, right in the front they have the convenience foods, the sandwiches, hot food, hot bar, stuff that's wrapped up, and then we're like, well, why don't we? Because what they have behind that at my favorite convenience store is, we have, what there is actually, salads and fruit. So that was what we chose, and that was definitely a more balanced choice. Have a salad, and yeah, it was making me upset. I was like, well, why don't we have some dressing, right? We can have some dressing on the salad. And then the ranch, there's like a ranch pump, and it just never works. Every time we go up to it, we try to get some ranch, and we can never get any out. So yeah, just had a salad. It was like chicken, bacon, cheese, and lettuce. That's it. Chomp that up. Thing about salads is they take a long time to eat because you have to just keep shoveling with the fork. Put the fork in and feed the body temple. And then we got watermelon, which was a nice sweet. Definitely loved some watermelon. That was awesome. Watermelon, 10 out of 10. If we were to choose our favorite fruit, watermelon would be probably it. We eat apples a lot, and we eat bananas a lot. Oranges are kind of hard to get at, but we have some oranges. The cuties are even easier, but they don't taste that good. Sometimes eating a cutie is like kind of depressed, kind of unsatisfying, because either it tastes bad or something. It's kind of sweet. But I'd say watermelon, yeah, that's a pleasurable moment for real. Watermelon's the best. But 5-6 years ago, we really were into diet choices, which was like fruitarianism, and then just learning all that. You can see so much different stuff about diet choices, and then what's right for us and our system. I can't say what would be right for anyone else if they want to eat fucking beef every day for every meal. Some people eat beef for every day for every meal. And at least some of our headmates don't find that acceptable. For various reasons, ethical concerns that other people raise. It's not necessarily one of our ethical concerns. Well, speaking as the host headmate, it's not his priority. He's cool with eating junk and sugar. So, coming into balance and learning about myself, it's just figuring out how to prioritize our healthy habits. Exercise is a different one, but I think the main thing to do is the food. We're not prepared to just, because we've tried to force ourselves to do heavy workouts, and it's just because that's the thing to do. Everyone wants to tell you exercise is so important. It's not like we don't walk and lift, so our job is pretty physical. And even thinking today, we're like, well, should we want to go for a walk? Well, hell no, we really don't. Just walking on the street in the city, we'd rather come back here, stroll the lot. And what we love about coming back here, and this is why we are blessed, have been blessed for the past, how long have we been here? Since 2018, which is now 7 years. We grew up in this house, and it's amazing we're still here. Sometimes we think about that. Why don't we take good care of this house and try to keep it, forever, for our whole life. And we don't know if that's possible to keep this house for our whole lives, because sometimes we want to wash our hands of it. But it's either the memories here, but not all great memories. That was part of it. We really wanted to, and it's just so much into it. So much stuff has happened here regarding my family. So, not just brief story, but just for the first part, our memories here are not that pleasant. Especially thinking of the instances of abuse. But it's interesting being here now as an adult, I should say, is we do assume that some amount of healing has taken place. And my neighbors, so this is a duplex, my neighbors who live down here, and that's why it's very important. We've called this house Homey Kingdom, because, we're adults now, and this is a place for healing. We don't know if there's other things going on, if people are suffering here. The energies here, at least in our world, the memories here have been pretty scary, like nightmarish almost. There have been some more playful memories. For instance, we would come back here. Yeah, there was a swing. So back there, growing up, we had a swing on the tree. And, even watching old footage from when we were young, it's almost eerie. But we're still back here making footage. So it's like I think we've wanted to kind of heal the pain, and that's a part of being here. Is there sacrifice? Is there something with being here that has been harder to heal? Yeah, it's not possible though, and so being here has been a blessing. Would we be happier somewhere else? Possibly. Yeah, we could live somewhere else, and that's how it is. So we inherited this house when my father died in 2012, and so so superstitions we consider, are there ghosts here? No, it's just us people, moving around, doing stuff, experiencing stuff. And so yeah, we struggle sometimes with the host, with the front, who's very damaged and very hurt. The fragments, our other selves, we believe, have more potential to grow. And as we give space for the altars to grow, right? So if we have headmates, altars that are stuck in a child's age, the appropriate thing would be to allow them to mature. And that's the idea. This is just our own presumption about DID, which is self-diagnosed. That's our premise, is if we can feel safe and comfortable enough to allow all of our ourselves to grow into mature adults, which some parts, alters headmates, are stuck in a child stage, allowing everyone to grow into a mature adult, responsible. Then the host, who's the most hurt, the host's creation can do an even better job hosting. Yeah, memories. So we'd be back here. Wow, yeah, that was a weird one. Very early memories of the clown. Yes, the clown. Scary as hell. Parents invited a clown to our house. And we don't have very positive memories of clowns. Although that clown must have been awesome. Yep, must have been an awesome clown. Yep. Drinking black tea rather than coffee. We're gonna do that. Yeah, back here picking up apples. So we got a tree here that's been producing apples our whole life, and the tree got kind of damaged, but it still grows. still drops fruits, and so picking up the apples. Yeah, we'd throw the apple as far as we could, and hit it on a tree and blow it up, because the apples kind of rot when they fall. So we just throw the apples to the tree. How far can you throw it? And being the youngest sibling, we could never throw as far. So physical activities, our confidence got to be pretty low. And we've talked about this before, about competition in a previous video. I'll link it below. Competition. That's an interesting video. Physical stuff like that. Even throwing an apple to a tree. Became a very competitive nature, and we're 4 years younger than our siblings, so we couldn't throw as far or do as much, and it's like frustration when we find out we're not as strong as the other people in our family. So a lot we could say about being a younger sibling. But without going on to too many more memories, we decided to read the contemplation first and throw this part to the back. So the video is going to be disjointed. We're going to put it in order. The skeets, enemy mine. With the land, what to do to prepare for winter? Oh, the wildlife is out. There's a cool squirrel out here. So we see all kinds of stuff. We saw a deer a couple weeks ago. Just yesterday, we saw a fox. Rabbits, a lot of rabbits. Bugs. Enemy mine. And the garden. So we're talking about the garden. We want to put the garden over there. This is the best place. So I'll just show you. Thing is just tearing up the grass. We don't like to do that really. But what you do, in the fall and in the winter is you just cover it with a tarp and leave the tarp on that patch of grass, and then that will create a patch so you can grow plants. And the idea here, let me take a walk over there. So we got this area here. So stake it from, this leaf it's a big patch here. And that's what we would want to do, is almost put tarps down, a row here, leave grass in between, a row here, a row here, a row here. We could do five or six rows of dirt. Now, raised, does it need to be raised? It's been trendy to have raised beds. Problem with raised beds is you need to, fill them with a lot of dirt. The earth is dirt, okay? You don't need to where are you going to get the dirt from if it's raised? Just put it in the ground and put a fence up. Will raised beds help with the wildlife? Yeah, maybe. We've seen, oddly enough, raised beds, up this high, like to the chest, at a community center down by the lake, and it's like, well, your plants aren't even touching the ground. That's what we got going on over there. I showed you the garden. Everything's in buckets. That's the problem, is it's not actually in the earth. It's in buckets with dirt. But that is not in the ground. It's just not. So we'll think about the garden for next year. We were hoping to, part of us wanted to leave the house and just live in the city. But that's exactly what we're talking about, of wanting to front the most holistic and, healing. So healing me, but healing the planet. And yeah, we wanted to just host the most naturalist part of ourselves. And that's one of the reasons we love being here, and we're happy to stay here. Are we going to stay here our whole lives? We never really thought that far. Because of the DID, dissociative identity disorder, we not only I have memories of the past, there are some flashes of images, but really it's called amnesia, so we don't really remember stuff we do, and easily forget about what we did just not long ago or yesterday, or it all gets because we're very much trying to manage the moment. And problem is, we don't have clear ideas, plans, or nothing for our future. But part of what we've understood about our role for planetary ascension includes healing the earth. And what do we want to do is we want to grow our own food. So yeah, recently we went to Virginia, and we stayed with a friend who was on a cattle farm. And down the road we went to, what was it called? A family called the Roots. And the Roots were it's almost corny the way, but sometimes people are just so corny, but very, very helpful. So the Roots, I think they gave themselves that last name as they were very interested in gardening, and what they did was did a lot with the garden, and they grew acres, just all kinds of vegetables, and then they would sell at market. That was inspiration. But now we're back here alone with our fragments, and we struggle to get it going. So if there's one thing we would want to do is to front the headmate who loves that stuff, planting, gardening, and cooking, and preparing, and storing food. Storing food is a whole other area of research and knowledge. Storing food you grow, whether you create a salsa or a jam, and it's preserved longer. So that's mostly it. We're thinking about, it's October, we're thinking about spring. So the winter will go by us and we'll kind of hibernate, and winter will go by and we'll be in spring again and ready to start the season again. So this is kind of the cyclical nature of living life on this planet, and we want to understand it better. The way to understand stuff is to do stuff, and so yeah, we'll get a garden ready for sure. How we can get our housemates involved in, the people who live here, how we can get everyone interested in gardening and work together. Not sure yet, but that kind of activity would heal not only me, it could potentially heal all of us if we all took an interest. But some of them don't leave their rooms, just play games and watch TV, do other stuff. They got different activities, but it's just tough. I want to be out on the land. At least that's the headmate who loves that. Other headmates want to just hibernate and watch movies. So we'll give expression for each of those parts. Yeah, really looking forward to spring for real. As it gets colder, that's all I think about is when it gets warmer again. It's hard to even enjoy. How to even live and enjoy because part of us loves winter, but it's okay. Ready for spring, so yeah, just want to do a better job with gardening this year. And yeah, our favorite plant to grow is cannabis, of course, but yeah, who could have a favorite plant to grow? All the plants mean the same, but cannabis, not a fruit, but it is a medicine. Yeah, absolutely a medicine. God's green earth, God's gift. Cannabis, God's gift. And we're struggling with the smoking. We haven't smoked cannabis in months. We've drinking a lot of THC and CBD, and that's okay. Well, can we grow some hemp? That'd be fucking even better. Can we get some hemp seeds? Because we have cannabis seeds, we don't have hemp seeds. It's kind of the same plant, but it's a little different. So with all that being said, planning for preparation for winter, not much I really have to do. There's a few, cutting some weeds down. Anything else we need to do? We're not sure really yet. But that's what we're thinking about. So we're going to end it here, and we're going to read the contemplation, put that in the front, and that's this video. Hope you have a blessed day. We are the consciousness system, referred to as Kanishi C41. Our host personality is Nicholas Jeremiah, and this channel is Turtle Island Tetragrammaton. Hope you have a blessed day. Be well, and we're still rocking with you. Thank you.